Top of the Monday morning, good people. Welcome to another edition of Double Innocence with your boy E-Dub. Gem Dropper, Showstopper. Bronny, come out to play. Oh, Bronny, come out to play. Now listen, I know you guys heard me say that because of the fact of the matter that he's a son, that I told you guys I wasn't really gonna come up here and disrespect him way too much. Anytime I spoke about him, I was gonna try my best to keep it as humane as possible. I was gonna try my best not to throw too much disrespect in Bronny James's direction, for the simple fact of the matter that at the end of the day, he's a kid. And if I had a kid, I wouldn't want nobody piling on my kid that way. So, if I had a kid in the NBA, that is. I wouldn't want anybody piling on my kid in the NBA that way. So, that's the reason why I try my best. And I will continue to try my best not to pile on to LaHandout James. But, when you do things in that type of scenario, I'm sorry. I'm up here trying to create content, and you're giving me the easiest type of content to create. I got to speak about it. I have to speak about it. Now, I know I did a video, a past video, saying that I started off saying that there's a good possibility Bronny James will probably end up faking an injury, and then I stepped away from that for the simple fact of the matter of what he had already gone through. I didn't want to attach any type of injury, any type of faking onto his name. So I stepped away from that platform, walked it back, and said they're going to find a way to make him miss games. Well, my goodness. Was anybody expected to be the second game? Was anybody here expecting it to be the second game of the season? Of preseason? Anybody? Wow. I mean, and I kind of could see exactly how, with the effort that he put out in the first game, I could see how he got hurt. I mean, with a whopping 4 points that he scored. It could have been any one of those points, any one of those 4 points that he scored that he hurt himself on. Any one of them. Now, between you and I don't really want to downplay the fact of the matter that they said he's injured, because you know what? He very well possibly could be injured. Very well possibly could be. And I'm hoping that if he is injured, it's nothing too major. Hoping he'll be able to recover from it fairly quickly, which between you and I really do think that he will be able to. But if you want to ask me my personal humble opinion, I believe after they had the opportunity to sit down and evaluate his performance after the first game, seeing where a whole lot of the deficiencies were, not to mention, allegedly, apparently, Golden State has an individual that's been waiting for the opportunity to play against Bronny because he wants to lock him down. With back-to-back games of him possibly scoring maybe 4 points again in another game, how would they be able to explain that to people? And you know what? The saddest thing about the whole ordeal is really and truly, we're here, myself as a content creator, other content creators on the YouTube streets, we're here talking about Bronny James in this particular manner. And as there's a man upstairs, I really do not hold Bronny James responsible for all this nonsense. It is not his fault. This solely belongs to the so-called king. His father put him in this particular position to be taking this type of backlash. Plain and simple. His father created this type of scenario that there was no room for error. He has to succeed. Or at least they're going to try and paint the picture that he's succeeding. But this whole entire equation has to work out. It has to. The amount of egg that's going to be on the amount of people's faces if this does not work out. Wow. It's going to be a very colorful omelet. I'm telling you guys. And like myself, unfortunately, you know, like I said, it's unfortunate it has to come to something like this, but you know what? It has to happen. And unfortunately, it had to happen to a good kid like Bronny James. That this type of exposure has to be exposed. This type of nonsense, this type of bullying through a league. Because now it no longer looks like an NBA league. It looks like you just have one star and everybody else in the league are a bunch of role players. And whatever the star wants, the star gets. But what the NBA fails to realize is while you're so busy accommodating everything that a star wants, you're basically ruining the rest of the league. And there's not one individual that's taken a step back and seen that this is exactly what's happening. This, to me, the simple fact of the matter that the Lakers are having such a hard time signing free agents out there tells me that, you know, the village is starting to speak. The list goes on. The DeMar DeRozan. What was the other? My man that signed in Dallas there from Golden State. Shooter. Come on now. Michael Thompson. Klay Thompson. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. The dude from Atlanta that ended up signing, I can't remember exactly where he signed, but they were trying to sort him from throughout the season. He signed someplace else. Trae Young ain't coming. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Like my man Ticket TV would say, till the break of dawn. And there ain't no help coming. And between me and you, I mean, it's an organization. It's one of the most prestigious organizations in the league. So by the time the season rolls around, they're going to find a way to patch it up and make it look like a 6-course meal. They're going to find a way to do that. But you could dress, you could put lipstick on a pig. Doesn't mean the pig is pretty. So that's why part of me kind of wishes that the season was starting tomorrow. Because for all you LeBron nights, okay, you guys are happy. But for us individuals, fans of the basketball sports, that's had to basically sit down and absorb 20 years of this so-called Kings nonsense. We're just sitting back and enjoying the fact of the matter that poetic justice is finally being served. Plain and simple. Ronnie James, I wish you the best of luck, bro. I mean, honestly speaking, like I said, you're a kid. I don't think you asked to be in the position that you're in. And now, because of the fact of the matter that you've been placed in that position, you've got to realize that you might have grown up thinking that the entire world just loves and worships the ground that your dad walks on. But I can see you're quickly realizing that there's a lot of people out here that have zero respect for the so-called Kings game. At least that's where it starts and stops for me. I'm not attacking the character of an individual in any other kind of way, except where it applies to the game of basketball, period. I am in no position to attack in any other kind of way because I do not know this individual on a personal level. I've never sat down and had a conversation with this particular individual on a personal level. So, the only person that can judge him on a personal level is his creator. But because of the fact of the matter that he happens to be an individual that plays a sport that I grew up loving, that gives me the right to critique the nonsense and injustice that I see. Plain and simple. And I'm not going to stop. So, for those of you individuals that this might annoy when you hear me up here talking about La Bum, La Handout, and the La Bum Nights, if it irritates and bothers you that much, like I told you guys before, they've got beautiful devices on your phone that if you just press them, it cures like a doctor problems like that. Do not torture yourself having to be up here to listen to nothing I have to say if it doesn't interest you in any kind of way. I want to rock with the people that are interested in this topic of conversation and have something to add to it. Good, bad, or indifferent, but just have something respectfully. Because up here, I'm an individual that I say what I have to say, and I try my best to say it as the best of the most respectful way as possible. But don't get it distorted. Don't take my kindness for weakness. I can get down in the mud with any one of the pigs I want to get down in the mud. That's just how we roll over here. With that being said, Double Innocence with your boy E-Dub wants each and every individual out there to have themselves a blessed Monday. Beginning of a week. Double Innocence with your boy E-Dub is